Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video is part 2 of my drugstore #1 products by brand. So this is a video that I do usually every year around this time, and I already did part 1 a couple weeks ago. And in that video, I covered most of the major drugstore brands like L'Oreal, CoverGirl, Maybelline. But in this video, I wanted to talk about some of the smaller drugstore brands like Koki, Joa, Neutrogena, and Almei. And also I got some requests to talk about Colourpop and BH Cosmetics and Makeup Revolution, because those are sold in like the drugstore section at stores like Ulta and they are more affordable. So I'm going to cover all of those brands today. And if you love seeing videos on affordable makeup or dupes, definitely don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I cover those a lot here on my channel. So let's go ahead now and jump right in. We'll start with the first brand, which is Almei. So this one was actually not too hard because I don't really own a lot of products from Almei. They're one of those brands that I kind of tend to forget about, and very rarely do they even come out with new makeup at all. And I think that's why, or at least one reason why, they're not on the forefront of everybody's mind. But you know, I think when they do come out with things, a lot of times they are pretty high quality. I think that they're just a little bit more boring, at least to me, which is why a lot of people aren't really talking about them or hyping them up. But that being said, I really do enjoy their lipsticks. I think their lipsticks are actually fantastic. I also really loved those little paints, like the little eye paints that came in the tube. Those were really, really good as well. And I think that was actually my #1 pick last time I did this video. But they have since come out with something that I like even more than those, and that is the Healthy Hue blushes. So these blushes completely blew me away. I think I first bought this one, which is nearly nude, because I really wasn't sure how I was gonna like it. And then I ended up going back and getting a second shade, and this one is Pink Flush. And these blushes are incredible. They are so smooth. I really was not expecting to love them as much as I do. They just kind of have this almost weightless quality to them. They're not overly powdery. When you put your brush into it, it doesn't have a lot of kick up or powderiness, but yet your brush picks up enough product. They're really nicely pigmented, and they just kind of melt into your skin, almost like giving you the look of a cream blush, but they're actually a powder. So they just look so seamless and perfect, and they're actually really long lasting on my cheeks as well. They tend to last almost the entire day on me, so I was just blown away by those. I think they're definitely worth trying out if you are a blush fanatic like I am and you love trying out new blushes. I think they're one of the more overlooked products at the drugstore for sure. The next brand is NYX, and in the past in these videos I've always usually shown an eyeshadow palette that I really liked from them, but I feel like their eyeshadow palettes have gotten really, really expensive, but I don't think the quality has gotten better like with the times. I think back in the day NYX had one of the best eyeshadow formulas at the drugstore, but they still kind of have like the same formula they've had, or at least it performs the same way, whereas a lot of the more affordable brands have just gotten better and better. So I tend to reach for brands like Colourpop, again, or BH Cosmetics more than I do NYX, and those brands also tend to be more affordable than NYX. So I wouldn't say that their eyeshadow palettes are really a favorite of mine anymore. However, I do really enjoy their BB cream. I think it's really, really good. I also like the new Marshmallow Primer. I really enjoy that one as well. But I think my #1 product from NYX right now is the Sweet Cheeks Soft Cheek Tint Blush. So it comes in this little tube. I actually thought it was like a squeezy tube at first, but it has a wand applicator and kind of very similar to like a liquid lipstick. And this blush is fantastic. It has a really soft, whipped kind of moussey texture and a matte finish. So it just gives you like the softest flush on your cheeks, and also it's non-sticky. It blends really easily, and it doesn't lift up my foundation underneath. So those are all things that I tend to look for in cream blushes. It's also very long wearing on my dry skin as well. I have the shade Nude 2. This is the only one I have, but I would absolutely go out and buy more shades of this because I love the formula. I think it is awesome. The next brand is Joa, and Joa is a brand that's exclusive to CVS, but they also do have their own website. So if they're not in any of the CVS stores near you, you can always order products directly from their website. I don't think it was always that way, but recently I had ordered some stuff just directly from them. And, you know, the shipping was fast and they packed everything really well. So that's also an option. And when it comes to their products, there are actually a lot of things I love from Joa. I love their new BB cream. I think it has amazing coverage and such a beautiful finish. I also love their new little 6-pan eyeshadow palettes. I think they are so cute and they remind me a lot of the K-Beauty eyeshadows. They're a little bit more sheer and just really pretty. I also really love their brow pencil. It has a really teeny tiny point to make those perfect hair-like strokes. I love that one. And even their primers are great. They have one that's an Hourglass dupe and also one that's a YSL dupe, and both of them are fantastic. But I still have to stick with my old favorite from Joa, and that would be the Truly Yours Dark Circle Concealer. This is pretty much the only concealer I use. I do have a ton of them, but this is just the one that I reach for because I love the finish of it so much. It has nice coverage, it's brightening under your eyes, but it doesn't sink into any fine lines. It doesn't crease on me. It just looks flawless. It almost tends to make the skin under my eyes look smoother. So I'm not quite sure how it does that. So I've repurchased this one at least probably 6 or 7 times in the past couple of years that this has been out. I just keep going back for it over and over again. It does have very similar packaging to the Maybelline Age Rewind. It has this little sponge tip on the top, but I like this one even better than the Maybelline. For some reason, I used to love that one, and I don't know if they changed the formula or if I've just changed like as I'm getting older. I'm not as big a fan of the Maybelline as I once was, so this definitely has replaced that for me. Next up we have Neutrogena, and very similar to Almei, I just don't always think about Neutrogena that often. Again, they're not usually releasing a lot of new makeup. I think if anything, they seem to be more focused on their skincare line. I think when I looked at Ulta for some Neutrogena products, I realized that they don't even carry their makeup anymore. It's just the skincare. And, you know, so I have to go to Target or CVS usually to find Neutrogena products these days. I don't know. I just feel like their makeup line is mostly basics and really it's just not all that exciting, but they do have some great products in the line. I especially enjoy the Hydra Boost products. Their Hydra Boost lip tints or lip shines are amazing. Those are one of my holy grail lip glosses because they're kind of like a lip gloss, lip balm hybrid, and they kind of smooth out the lines in your lips and just make your lips look so nice. I also really love their Hydra Boost concealer. It comes in like a stick, and usually those are kind of too dry for me to use, but this one is so creamy. It's actually a dupe for the Benefit one. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now, but I'll put it on the screen which one I'm talking about. But it's almost identical. It has really nice light coverage, but again, it's just really kind to drier skin, more mature skin types. But I have to say probably my number one product from Neutrogena would be their Hydra Boost Hydrating Tint. So this one is such a nice foundation. I wouldn't even call it a foundation. It is more in line with the tinted moisturizer as far as the coverage goes, or maybe like a BB cream. This is just one of those great like everyday foundations that you can just put on if you're just like running errands or you don't really want a lot of coverage, but you want your skin to look really, really good. It has sort of a dewy finish to it, but it doesn't feel sticky. It actually, when you first apply it, it kind of feels like you're giving your skin a drink of water. It almost has this cooling type of sensation. It's so nice. And then the hyaluronic acid seems to kind of plump everything out. The first time I used this, I put it on, I was like, okay, it looks decent, you know, it looked okay. And then I walked away and I think I came back to a mirror like about a half an hour later and I was blown away. I thought my skin looked so good. And I couldn't believe that it was this, but it just somehow like my fine lines looked less apparent and my skin just glowed. So I have repurchased this one also many times and will continue to do so as long as they make it. Next up, we have Koki Koki Cosmetics, and they're another one that I feel like they're a very slept on brand. Not a lot of people are talking about them, but they have some really, really great products. I mean, their mascara, I think this one actually had a bit of a moment when it first came out. I remember Kathleen Lights talking about it, and then all of a sudden you couldn't buy it for months and months, and it is such a good mascara. It's called Volume and Length. Definitely check that one out. I also love their lip veneers. These are like a lip gloss, but with full pigment, so they're super comfortable to wear, almost like a traditional liquid lipstick, but they feel so nice on your lips, and the colors that they come in are beautiful. They also have cute little blush trios that come in a bunch of different colors that I really love. But I have to say my main number one product, and actually this is kind of two, but they're like the same type of product, are their liners. Their liners are fantastic. They're made in Germany, which for me, I find that the best eye and lip liners are made in Germany. I don't know why, but every single one that I've found that's made there is amazing. Anyway, their eyeliner, this is something that I wear every day. I mean, look at how small it is at this point. It's just like a little stump. I do have some backups waiting, but these are the most creamy eyeliners ever, but yet they stay put so well. I can take this and run it like on my waterline, and it sticks beautifully, and it's just like bold black color with no skipping. And like I said, it's super long lasting, and these remind me so much of the Urban Decay 24/7 eyeliners. I feel like it's such a solid dupe for those. And also their lip liners. This one I wear in so many videos. I'm not wearing it today, but when I want just that perfect kind of neutral peachy pink lip, this is what I'm wearing, and I usually just top it with a lip balm. This is in the shade Warm Nude, and just like the eyeliner, this is so creamy. You can literally use it as a lipstick, which is what I normally do. So if you are looking for good liners, definitely check out Koki. They're only around $6, and plus I have a 25% off coupon code as well, so you can get them really, really cheaply. All right, so moving on to Makeup Revolution. I feel like they are so overwhelming. They have so many products now, so many different lines within their brand. And really, I do have some standout favorites from the brand. The first one being their concealer, their Conceal and Define. I think that one is fabulous. It is such a nice concealer. I also really enjoy their XX Revolution blushes. Those are like high end, from the packaging to the formula. They're so pigmented. The color range is amazing. And I mean, honestly, their color ranges in general are always really good, from the foundations to the blushes to the concealers. I think they really do take into account all skin tones. I think they're so good with that. Another favorite product of mine from them that I've talked about in dupe videos is the I Heart Revolution Bronze and Glow palette. It's just this cute little palette that has a bronzer and highlighter, and it's like the perfect dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. So that one I love as well. But I think when it comes to my number one product, it's actually an eyeshadow palette, and I feel like their eyeshadow palettes are very hit or miss. Some are great, some are not so much, but this one is fantastic. The formula is so high end, and it's their Wild Animal Courage palette. So I know I've talked about this one in other videos, but these powders are so creamy and so buttery and amazingly pigmented, just like high end. I feel like the packaging of this one is very luxurious as well. Ulta used to carry this one, and then they discounted it and it was gone, but it is still available on Makeup Revolution's website. So I highly recommend checking this out. If you like the color story, you're gonna love the formula of it as well. It is awesome. All right, so moving on to BH Cosmetics. I think BH Cosmetics has come such a long way from where they were before. I think their eyeshadow palettes in particular are really my favorite thing that they make. I feel like they're not as big on complexion products, although I do have some of their face palettes that I really enjoy as well. But just as far as like foundations, concealers, mascara, like you don't really think of BH Cosmetics when it comes to that. I think their strong point is definitely their palettes, and they weren't always a great formula, but the last couple of years they've really blown me away. And if I had to choose a favorite palette, it would be one that they don't make anymore, which is the Love in London palette. You guys know I've talked about this one so many times here on my channel. It's just my favorite because it has like the perfect mix of cool tones, warm tones. It has just about everything that you would need in a beautiful, more neutral palette. But since they don't don't make this one anymore, I did want to show a backup just in case you were wondering what palettes are actually worth buying from the brand. And I would go with Smitten in Switzerland. I think this is definitely my #2 favorite. And the reason being, not only is the formula fantastic, but I just love the variety that you get in here. It's colorful, but it's not bright, you know, it's not neon or any type of crazy colors. It's just subtle color. And I love that you can do a green look with this palette or something that's more like rosy toned. There's cooler tones like the gray and taupe, and there's also some warmer tones as well. So I feel like this palette has it all, and you can really just do so much with it and get really creative with it if you want to, or you can just make a really simple basic neutral look. So I love this one. I know a lot of you guys love it too. I was a little bit late to the party with it because all of you guys kept telling me you have to buy this palette, it's so good. And really, it was months after it came out before I ended up getting my hands on it, but I love it. You guys were right. It is amazing. And then last but not least, we have Colourpop. This one was definitely my most difficult decision because Colourpop just has so much that I love. I mean, I'm not super into their complexion products like their foundation, concealer. Those really didn't work out for me in one way or another, but I am obsessed with their Super Shock blushes and eyeshadows. I think those are amazing. I love their pressed powder blushes. I think they have awesome brushes as well, makeup brushes. I think they're affordable and just really high quality. I mean, their line is just, it's so good. But I think my biggest love when it comes to Colourpop has to be eyeshadows. I collect just about every palette that comes out for the most part. So I have this huge Colourpop collection. So then I'm like, okay, what palette do I choose? I have to narrow this down, and I just have so many that I really enjoy. But when it comes right down to it, I would say the palette that I use the most would have to be the Stone Cold Fox palette. This one just gets me because of all the cool tones, and you have so much in here to play with. If I grab this palette, I can come up with a look for anything that I'm wearing, if I want to coordinate or, you know, any type of situation. If I want a neutral look, if I want soft colors, deep smoky colors, this palette has it all. And I love that it's mostly cool tones because that's just what I gravitate toward. Now, if you like warmer tones, they also have a warm version of this called Bare Necessities, which I like almost equally as much, but this is just the one that I reach for the most just because it's very basic. It's like an everyday palette because you have browns in here, you have grays, you have rosy tones, you have a couple like silvery shades. It's really just the perfect everyday palette. And I know some of you guys who like more color are gonna think this is a boring choice, but I mean, it's just what I reach for most often, so I had to go with this one. All right, guys, that's everything that I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you'd like to see a high-end version as well, let me know, and I can definitely put that together for you. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, as always. I appreciate it so much. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, and also if you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet and you like drugstore makeup and dupes, definitely don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next one. Take care. Bye.